Hello, internets. Jesus loves you. My name's Cody. This is the Christian News Show we do on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Geeks Under Grace, and it's been a while, I feel like. I mean, I know I saw you guys Friday, but we didn't have a news show Thursday. I miss ya. We're going to start the news day with something very interesting. In the past, I have praised beer and Bible studies. I've talked about a church that actually built a bar in its basement. But today, we are talking Apologia Church in Arizona. They're trying to plant a church in Hawaii because everyone knows if God calls you to do something, it's definitely usually on a beach. Though for me personally, my calling is in Tokyo, Japan, where everything looks like an anime convention. I don't even know why I'm talking on these guys. I'm sure Hawaii is a fine place for a church. But anyways, they're doing this fundraiser so that they can raise money to build this church in Hawaii. But the way they're raising this money is by selling people tickets, and these tickets allow you to drink beers from 30 different taps. And so as you can imagine, there are so many people who are angry because you can't raise money for a church on this kind of debauchery. You should be doing raffles because gambling is way more appropriate. For me, I don't really care. I don't see anything wrong with having a couple beers. What does freak me out, however, is that there is a church member at the event who will be giving tattoos. This is a little life tip for you, and it's not necessarily a Christian life tip. It's a life tip for everyone. Don't drink and get a tattoo. Ever. Plus, I'm not saying this guy is terrible at his job, but definitely do your research before getting a tattoo. Maybe go to the tattoo parlors and see some of their work. Stuff like that. I'm just saying, anyways, what do you guys think? Do you think that churches should be raising money with selling beers? Like I said, I don't really see it as a big deal. I understand why people are mad about it, but nah. Like, I know drinking here in the United States, a huge taboo with Christians. It's just one of those things. Our next story is on same-sex marriage, which I usually try to avoid in general. This one's ridiculous, though. You've probably heard of Christian Mingle, and then there's tons of other religious dating sites out there. Well, a bunch of them are owned by the Sparks Network, which I think is kind of interesting. So you have Christian Mingle, and then a Catholic version of it, and then something called jdate.com, which is for Jewish people, and sadly has nothing to do with J-pop. But they're being sued by the two gay guys because there is not an option for men to seek men. Say there's this act from 1959 that's specifically for California that's supposed to protect people from being discriminated against based on sex. And this lawsuit is for $18,000, $9,000 to each of the two men. And the more I look into this, the more I realize that this is kind of dumb. Like, there's a website out there called Where White People Meet, which is specifically for white people to meet other white people. Like, if that's okay, then not having this is okay. I'm just saying, the more I look into it, the more it seems like this really isn't about civil issues. It's about, hey, I think we can make $18,000 because that's would be nice for me at least. So why don't we try? Even so, I really can't see this going through. And then final story of the day, something that legitimately matters. It takes us to Russia, where some laws are on their way to being passed. And if these laws pass, what happens is that you are no longer allowed to evangelize outside of a church or a religious gathering, which is very loose wording if you ask me. But what this means is I can't go to one of my friends and be like, hey man, you should really go check out this church. I think you're really gonna like it. That's illegal. Can't do that. And according to some religious leaders, the point of this is really to not necessarily get rid of the church in general, but allow the Russian Orthodox Church to grow because it's part of their nationalism. In other words, let the Russian Orthodox Church continue to thrive as it's been doing, but then kind of kill off everyone else because they're not allowed to talk about themselves to anyone outside of their own churches. So this is a bad thing. We need to pray for Russia. Question of the day brings us back to our first story. These are always interesting. What are your thoughts on drinking? I know some people or me, just don't care. You're like, it's fine. Other people really are against it, like very against it. I want to know what you have to say, though, so please leave a comment in the comment section down below with your answer. Make sure you check out geeksundergrace.com for more geeky content. My name is Cody, Armour, bringing Christian news in a not-so-boring kind of way every Tuesday and Thursday. In closing, let the haters say, let the Christians pray, and to everybody like, subscribe. I'll see you later, and God bless.